Good morning, children. Today we start online class for class 8. In this class, we are going to discuss a new chapter, that is friction. So, what is this friction? Have you ever heard this word friction? Yes, we heard this word. Where, sir? In chapter 1. In chapter 1, the topic of the concept is force. We learn that. In that force contact, we have discussed the forces are of two types. What are that? Contact forces and non-contact forces. If we go through the contact forces, there are again divided into four types of forces. What are that? Muscular force and frictional force, tensional force and normal force. We heard right now what is friction, frictional force. Second one, frictional force. Right now, the term friction. What is the term friction? Have you ever experienced with this frictional force? Yes, we are daily observing this force. Sir, where, sir? See, I am standing and saying lesson to you. If I want to stand on this floor, then which force supports me? That is nothing but the frictional force. That is nothing but the frictional force. Simple example is that, see, you need to take bike. You need to take bike and you need to go to further distance. Okay, suddenly heavy rain came. Then what happens? You may see many times the tires skid. And they will fall on the ground. Why they are falling on the ground? Because due to the absence of friction. If the friction is absent, then the tire skids. Understand, children? Even it has 4 tires or 7 tires or 9 tires, whatever it may be, if the friction is absent, then it may skids. Understand, children? And next, in many cases you have seen that sports persons, our Indian cricket team, the 11 players who are playing in the ground, they have to wear one of the fundamental object. What is that? Shoes. Nothing but spikes. They have to wear these shoes. Why? Because when they are running on the ground, they have to fall on the ground? No. To avoid this, they wear shoes with spikes. What happens, when they are walking or when they are running on the ground, these spikes give contact and provides frictional force to stand on the ground. Or otherwise, if they are in the running motion, it gives stability to not to fall. Understand, children? Frictional force acts in many cases, not only this. Understand? In clear, we are going to discuss the friction. What is friction? The definition right now we'll see. The force applied by the floor. The force applied by the floor on an object is called frictional force or force of friction. See, children, this was the definition of the friction. What they said, the force applied by the floor. Here the force was applied by whom? By the floor. Normally this was the floor. On what I am standing, that is the floor, surface, whatever it may be. On an object means I am standing, I am one object. On the floor, one table is there and table is nothing but object. On the floor there is a vehicle, and vehicle is an object. Understand children? In all these cases, the force is being applied by the floor. The force is being applied by the floor on the objects is called frictional force. Understand children? If there is no frictional force, I'll slip and I'll fall on the ground. If the presence of frictional force, due to the presence of frictional force, I'm standing here right now. Understand? If it was absent, whatever it may be, all the objects will be skid. Understand? Right now, some examples I'll give you to know what is frictional force and on what cases it acts. I think at all your homes there is a table. There is a table, a small table. Right now, take that table. With the help of your hand, drag that table. While you are dragging, you may hear some sounds. Some different kinds of sounds you may hear when you are dragging. Why it is producing that different kinds of sounds? Is there any sound machine there? Or any other kid or any other person playing the sound? No. Here the frictional force is acting clearly. When you are dragging, what happens? The floor is giving force, no? It opposes the motion. It opposes the motion. Suppose you consider myself as a table and I am standing on the floor. Right now, one of my friend came here and he drags me. When I am moving like this, what happens? The force applied by the floor stops, opposes my motion. If I am moving like this, it opposes my motion. Understand? This is nothing but the frictional force. It opposes. Understand children? Frictional force is nothing but simple definition they have given. The force applied by the floor. The floor itself gives the force on any kind of object, whatever it may be, any object, even the chalk paste, whatever it may be, is called frictional force or force of friction. We'll continue the next topic in the next further class children. Thank you children.